Back to school season is upon us, and even if you're not listening to this podcast episode during back to school season, right now is a great time to consider the 3 reasons why we need the arts in our classrooms, all of our classrooms. So that's what we're going to get into today. What do the arts have to do with learning in SEL? Oh, so much. Join me as we explore the depths of how these things come together through SEAL, social, emotional, artistic learning. We'll look at the mindset, the methods, and the integrations that make SEAL so effective. So plug yourself in. It's time to get inspired. Hello, everybody. Elizabeth Peterson here from the Inspired Classrooms podcast. So the arts and creativity are such a powerful tool to help students learn, especially when it comes to social and emotional learning. And we're gonna talk about we're gonna touch on all of that in today's episode, because the arts can really expand themselves into so many facets of our students' learning. And as we really start thinking about what the beginning of our new school year looks like, we really should be considering how the arts can help our students and help ourselves so that we can make that transition back into teaching and learning smooth and engaging and positive. And before I dive into those 3 ways that we can make this happen, I want to talk to you about a resource, a free resource that I have for you. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. It's the back to school freebie that I have available for you. This is such a great resource. It has ways that you can introduce some of your classroom rules and expectations through a fun bingo game. It has a way for students to get to know each other and know each other's talents and their creative sides. And it also has a whole bunch of activities that you can use in those first few days, or you can even stretch it out into the first few weeks of school, or you could compile it all into your very first day and have your entire first day planned out and done. And I want you to go over to the inspiredclassroom.com/BTS freebie, where you can download that for free and start using that. It'll be an amazing way to just get creativity and arts into your classroom right from the start. All right, so often, teachers will hesitate to bring the arts and the artistic experiences into their classrooms. And, I can understand why. Often the arts can be seen as too cumbersome. Maybe they take too much time out of your class. You may think that, right? Or maybe you don't feel like you're very artistic. Now, those are all valid concerns, but imagine if we always took the easy way out, right? And we only reverted back to worksheets and independent tasks. If we do that, then the learning for our students is going to be boring. And I know that you don't want that for your kids, and you don't want that for yourself. You want your teaching to be engaging, right? And you want your students to be engaged and alive and excited about the things that they're learning. And so that's where the arts can come in and really help you, especially if you start this out in the beginning days of your new school year. All right, so the first way that the arts can help is that the arts can build community. Now, building community with a new class, of course, is so important, especially at the beginning of the school year, right? Or the beginning of a new class coming in to your room. Here's the fact. Artistic experiences bring people together. And they bring people together because what artistic experiences do is it gives your students something in common. It gives them a common experience for them to live through together. And that's what can build that community. I want you to imagine maybe having your students creating some type of mural together. And I'm not talking highly skilled, way out there, but it could be something relatively simple, like all the students are contributing to one cohesive bulletin board, right? Or maybe when your students are playing their instruments together or playing some simple instruments together, like everyone just has egg shakers together, and you're just having that opportunity, you're giving them that common experience. Maybe it's as simple as one of my absolute favorite ways to bring the arts into the classroom. You listen to a piece of music together, and you listen and you discuss it and you talk about your interpretations. Giving students that one common experience can help to build community inside your classroom. I see it year after year after year in my own classroom, and I see it in other teachers' classrooms too when they bring these types of experiences to their students. Maybe it's, acting out skits for your classroom rules. The thing is that the arts are just so naturally inclined to bring people together because you're giving them that moment that they have in common. I have a blog post that I will put a link to in the show notes. It's called something like The Community That Art Built. And inside there, I have a couple of nice little activities that you can try out. So look for that link in the show notes. And of course, that back to school freebie also has some activity ideas in there that you can use to just start right off the bat. Get your students building community through the arts. All right, let's look at the second way that the arts can really help you at the beginning of the school year, and that is the arts can help students with their own self-awareness and self-management. There are always going to be some emotions that you need to address in a new school year. And let's face it, students are throughout the school year going to come into the classroom with some big emotions. In fact, that is what my new webinar is all about. And I've been hosting the webinar again this coming Wednesday. I'll put the link again in the show notes. It's theinspiredclassroom.com/free webinar. And the title is How to Diffuse Your Students' Big Emotions Without Feeling Like a Classroom Therapist. So students come to us with many emotions, and it's really important for us to help our students to process these emotions in our classrooms, in our offices, so that they can be present and ready to learn. It can be something as simple as allowing your students to do some simple drawing or coloring, because that type of act can help to quiet the mind and help them with their self-management. And once they've had that moment to really do that, they can then start to think about, okay, what did I come in the classroom feeling like? How do I feel now? How can doing this simple act of creating art, right? A simple drawing, simple coloring. How can I utilize that to really help myself the next day and the day after that? Inside my TPT store, I have what's called soft starts. These are small activities, and they're inspired by SEAL. They're SEAL inspired, social, emotional, artistic learning. So they're all based in some type of great way to utilize the arts. And these soft starts are just little activities that students can sit down and kind of do and transition themselves from whatever that was that they came from to transition into your classroom. And it really is just a great way to get them to just be in the present, because If students are sitting at their desks in our classrooms and their minds are elsewhere, their minds are still at home with an argument they had with their mom or their sibling, or their mind is just scrambled because of, oh my gosh, I mean, any number of things, right? They got a text from a friend and now they're freaking out about it. Whatever it might be, this is the type of thing that helps to ground them into your classroom and gets them ready to learn. Another great SEAL strategy, a teacher favorite, is of course sound tracking and utilizing music that will help to create the atmosphere that you want in your classroom, and allowing students to really use that music that's kind of, it is just in the background of the classroom to really help to regulate their emotions. When students can learn the tools to regulate their emotions, they will be more present in the classroom and ready to learn. And the arts can be, I'm not going to say can be, the arts are such a powerful tool that you can help students to learn how to use so that they can have that emotional regulation. All right, so we've had the arts can build community. That was the first one. The second one was how the arts can help with self-awareness and self-management. All these things are so important to making sure that students are able to learn, right? These are like the foundational layers of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? They're here, they're ready. And now that brings us to the third way that the arts can help in our schools, in our classrooms. And that, of course, is the arts provide for deep learning of content. When you can integrate the arts into the content that you teach, and I'm talking regardless of what subject you teach, regardless of the age of your kids, when you can really integrate the arts into your content, your students are going to remember and they're going to understand the content at a much deeper level. For example, imagine teaching math concepts, right? But teaching math concepts through movement. Maybe the students embody some vocabulary terms. Maybe there are movements that they do in relation to a specific context that you're trying to teach them. Movement can really just solidify some of your content into their body. And it's definitely something that kinesthetic learners can benefit from, but all your students can benefit from them. I actually wrote an article and it's on Edutopia. Again, I'll put that in the show notes for you to check out. And it's all about how I use movement specifically in my math groups to help them to be ready for learning and to help the learning stick. Another way that the arts can help with content learning, well, dramatizing a scene in a story that you're reading. That kind of thing can just the students can just more easily understand the character, right? The emotions of the character, the motive of the character, like just what's kind of happening inside of the story. Because when they put themselves in the character's shoes and they can imagine the situation and they can imagine the setting, that is going to deepen their understanding of the literature that you are presenting to them. And again, this works for kindergartners reading To Give a Mouse a Cookie. This has also worked, and I've worked with high school teachers who have used this type of artistic arts integration as they're studying the Odyssey. What I love about the arts is that they truly can transcend any age level or any topic or subject. And it's just a matter of thinking about what is your content. What are some art forms that you might want to try? Or what are some art forms that you're comfortable with? Or what are some art forms that your students might want to give a try to? And then setting up that setting it up so that your students can actually do that. And I'm always open to bouncing ideas, figuring out what could work for you. So make sure that you find me on Facebook, Instagram, DM me. Let me know what you teach. Let me know what grade level you teach. I absolutely love conversing with other teachers and sharing ideas and giving you some direction if that's what you need. I really have enjoyed. I feel like through this podcast alone, I've gotten so many teachers who have wanted to, DM with me and just learn some fun, simple ways that they can start to integrate the arts into their classroom for content learning, for social emotional learning, and the benefits and the payoffs are just so great. So simply put, I would say that the arts just bring things to life, right? It's about engaging your students so that they are really internalizing the learning that they need. So let's review those three ways that we can bring the arts into our classrooms, especially now at the beginning of the school year. One is to bring the arts in to build community. The second way is to bring the arts in to help with self-awareness and self-management, getting students to be ready for learning, present in our classrooms. And the third is that the arts are there to help provide for deep learning of content. All right, so it's time. It's time for you to make a decision, right? Will you make the arts part of your classroom this year? I would love to know. Really, think about that, make that decision, and consider what that first step might be. And if you're wondering what would that step be, by all means, make sure you DM me. Let me know where you are at in terms of your grade level and your students and your content, and let's get you to make that first step or that next step. All right, and don't forget, I have that resource to help you get started with some fresh ideas for the new school year. Check out that link in the show notes. All right, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I can't wait to talk to you again. Thanks so much for listening. Please be sure to subscribe as we continue talking about arts, learning, and SEL through SEAL, social, emotional, artistic learning. If you want to learn more, go to theinspiredclassroom.com. My name's Elizabeth Peterson, reminding you to get inspired so that you can be inspiring to your students.